This is a review of set 75354, the Coruscant Guard gunship, retailing for $140, including 1,083 pieces. As far as the minifigures, there's 5 of them spread across 8 bags. I believe every other bag there is a minifigure starting from Padme, ending in Chancellor Palpatine, which are also both exclusive to the set, as well as Fox, which is the only version in Phase 2 we've seen. Technically, there's been 2 versions of the Phase 1, one which is worth a lot of money, which is a misprint, and the other one, which is still pretty expensive and pretty cool. But this one is the only Phase 2 of him we've gotten so far, and my guess is they probably won't re-release it in any other set, and you can get the helmet hole, Coruscant Guards, and a bunch of other sets. I believe this is the only retail one, but they have appeared in some other sets before. The first bag includes Padme Amidala, which is actually extremely accurate to the version we see her in, at least for the Coruscant Guard gunship here. She does come with a printed torso, which looks very nice. No printed legs or arms, but still very, very nice figure, and actually looks pretty detailed and accurate to the scene that we see her in. And she also gets a short silver blaster, which is a lot more accurate than a normal black one. So this is a very cool figure, pretty nice hair print and face print. I believe we see him in some other sets, and this one does have dual molded, I guess, on the front and the back. Personally, I prefer the one on the front, and I will be displaying it like that, but you know, it never hurts to have another face on the back of it, and obviously it doesn't poke out like some of the other figures that we've seen. And I actually really like the hair mold. I think it looks pretty nice on her and pretty accurate to the scene that we see her in. So overall, a really nice figure for bag 1. Next is Phase 2 Commander Fox. Again, we've seen him in 2 other, I guess, not in visual sets. One of them has been a misprint, and one of them was a normal print, which was in a Phase 1 version. So that is cool to get him again in Phase 2. And like always, LEGO messes up, and first off, there is a different torso print. I believe the bottom, like, chest piece here should be a little bit more red. I know the miscolorations with most of the Phase 2 commanders on the torsos don't look the greatest, and if you can tell, it looks way worse with the red next to it. It is a little bit of discoloration, kind of looks a little pink. That is with everyone's. But overall, I don't think the figure is that good. I mean, if you look at it from a distance, it is a cool figure, you know, but overall the printing isn't that cool. I mean, it does have the printed waist capes, which again, not look nice at all. I'm definitely not a fan of those at all. And for a $140 set, you definitely should be getting some sort of pauldron. I mean, Fox doesn't have a pauldron, so it would be nice if he just got a cama or like a waist cape. I think that would have been a lot better than just not including anything at all, because Rex gets a pauldron, I guess, a cloth pauldron in like a $12 set, or maybe even $13 set. I feel like you can find clearance for maybe like 8 or 9, but Fox can't get his cama or waist cape in a $140 set, which sucks. But I do wish they would introduce a new color of a visor, which would not even be any like printing or different design like I would have preferred for Commander Vaughn in the 332nd Battle Pack, but maybe a darker color like black would make a lot more sense. I believe that was the exact color that Thorn had. I know he had some white printing, but it would make it a lot cooler if there was black one. I know this is supposed to be Fox, but I did just finish up making a video with a black visor, which doesn't really look that good without the black visor. I was making a video with the Commander Thorn scene. So overall, I mean, it's a pretty decent minifigure. I mean, we've been waiting for him for a while, and it comes in a $140 set. I definitely expect better from LEGO overall. This figure is not the greatest, but I'm still happy to have him in my collection, but hopefully they improve him over time. But it doesn't really look like the Commander Bly is getting much better in the MMT, which I'll make some more videos closer to August 1st. Next, we get 2 of these Coruscant Guards, which is very, very nice. We don't see them a lot. We have seen him before, but it is really cool. I like the red color on the clones. Of course, it has helmet holes and has the normal face print that is basically for every clone, at least the 2020 style, with this updated like print and all the updated style, I guess, of the clones. Except for Rex, he has the exact same face print, but there is a little inhibitor chip spot there, which is pretty cool. And the Y-Wing, again, which is only like $12. Maybe you can find clearance for $8. So again, not the coolest thing to include that there, but they can't do too much for a $140 set again. But overall, the printing is nice. I mean, it's just a basic clone. It will definitely look at an army. It is harder to collect because there isn't any battle packs. I mean, you're not going to collect so many gunships, just $140 gunships, just to get like a couple of these guys. It is cool that they include more than one in it, and I feel like the minifigure selection is pretty good. Maybe I'd want like an Anakin or an Ahsoka replicating the scene where a fox was chasing her down, because if you haven't watched the Clone Wars, I guess this would have to be based off the Clone Wars. Overall, this is a pretty decent minifigure. Again, the helmet holes is kind of just what I expect at this point, which kind of sucks, but still very nice minifigures, and I'm glad they're included in another newish set, I guess. Finally, Chancellor Palpatine here, which is a very, very nice minifigure. And yes, I will be making a Palpatine's arrest with this minifigure. He looks very nice kitted out in his red suit, I guess, which is pretty accurate to the scene again. So very happy they did that, because honestly, sometimes they don't. But it is a pretty basic minifigure. He does come with a really nice dress piece with printing on the back. But you can see it doesn't really completely continue with the lines, but I'm not going to be that picky. I'm just saying it does look a little weird from the back, but I'm very, very, very glad that they actually added printing, somewhat of printing on the back. None of these minifigures have arm printing, but honestly, they don't really need it. I think Palpatine looks very nice. I'm glad he shows up in a different set, and he does come with a second face, I believe, one which is like a Sith face, I guess, if you want to call it that, as well as a more calm one in the back. So it does look like pretty nice. I mean, I don't believe there's too much new printing or molding going on in this minifigure. So overall, it is a nice one and a great one to include in the Coruscant Guard gunship. Now, what you've been waiting for, the Coruscant Guard gunship. I got this set for my 300 subscriber anniversary, I guess, and I haven't done the review because I didn't have the stickers yet, which I'll talk about later in this video. Here's one of them, and here's another one, and then the same thing goes on the other side. But I might just been not looking at the instructions correctly, but I don't know where instruction booklet or sticker, I guess, number 3 goes. So comment down below if you can find out where that goes. But I guess I'll start with the stickers here, which one goes into this little compartment here, which you can lift up. I guess you could tightly squeeze a minifigure there, or maybe if you want to put him in like a medical state, then you could put him there. And this flap does lift up pretty nicely. Again, I don't really like stickers. I believe I've said this in every review that has stickers in it. I really don't like them because it would be a lot easier printed, and it would look a lot nicer printed, and they would have, like, I would have just included the actual printed piece. Like, I got the piece perfectly fine, but the stickers were completely lost, and it took me a very, very long time to actually get it. I believe I got it due 300 subscribers somewhat in June. I believe I got it the official day that I actually got 300 subscribers, so it kind of looks weird again with the discoloration. Really wish it was printed, because again, you can also like mess up, and it can make it look very, very weird. And printing just looks really nicer than this. Honestly, some of the color, again, a little bit of a discoloration. So it does look pretty nice though. Overall, if you look at it from a distance, I guess it doesn't really matter too much. But again, it does have both of these flaps that you can open and fit someone inside there. So it is pretty cool. I guess you could put some other crates, but it doesn't include any side buildings, but still pretty cool. And moving on to the front, it does have 2 of these articulated ball joints. I guess you can move around and position it, but this one is a little bit damaged, as you can see. I just got this new, but it kind of falls a little bit. You can tell as you move it. This one's a lot more sturdy. This one's a lot more loose. I don't believe that I've done anything different. I think it's just the quality of the piece. So that does kind of suck, but you can lift up both of these cockpits to technically fit the clones in here. You can actually perfectly slide them in. This is one of my favorite cockpits that you actually get. You can just slide them in there, and then the gun is a little bit in the way, but if you take it off, which I will show a separate storage area to actually fit it, which isn't under here, a lot more tighter in security, we can fit him in there and close it perfectly. But I actually like it a lot because the position is really accurate, as well as you can just slide him in there and pop him in there. It's not like some of these microfighters. I guess they've improved the microfighters, but originally a lot of the legs would get stuck on the 2x2s, and then you'd have to pull them out, so it would be separated like this, so kind of sucks. But now they obviously have changed it. I mean, at least one thing has changed, so I really like it how you can easily pop both of them in there. But again, technically the Coruscant Guards weren't actually being piloting the actual gunship there, so it's kind of weird that we see him there instead of getting a clone pilot, which I would prefer rather than these Coruscant Guards. And the box art actually shows Fox flying in the top area, so if you take out his blasters, I guess you can fit him here, but honestly, I would rather prefer just two of the random grunts just piloting here, which I can show you here, and then Fox just in the main compartment of the gunship. So it's kind of weird that they put him in the top, and they don't show the Coruscant Guard opened, but I guess they're assuming that you know that Padme, as well as one Coruscant Guard and Emperor Palpatine are fit in there pretty nice. But I will show how many figures you can actually fit normally, as well as just cramping in the actual gunship here. So this is a play scale gunship, so to be a little bit smaller, but again, we do have a lot of extra blasters here. I guess personally I would have two of these mid blasters here, which is one from each Coruscant Guard, which you can actually fit in the back here. It has this cool compartment here, you can pop them in individually and fit them in pretty nice. But I'm not going to put the other one in there because the box art shows two of the pistols, I guess, fitting in, I'm assuming, the back, because I don't know where else Lego would want them to be. This is clearly the spot to fit both of the guns, so I don't even know. I haven't tested this out yet because the box art honestly caught me off guard there. I didn't really notice, and no pun intended by caught me off guard, Coruscant Guard, because I wouldn't expect Commander Fox to be flying in there, but they can fit nice and snug, so that is actually pretty nice. And no extra, I guess no extra like clips or anything on the side. It is $140 set, so that is what I am assuming for this. But now I'm going to show a little bit of the interior before moving on to the wings here. So at least how I do it is normally just pry it open like that, which works pretty well. But also there is a little, technically a lever here with a little Technic piece here. You can push back and close it as well, but I can't really completely close it. This is as far as I can push it. You kind of need to push it in there a little bit more to actually secure it. And overall, it does have some windows here, which I've found to be a little bit like easy to be curved like that. If I can see it, then I have to like correct it and stuff. But you can open it up and technically adjust this, which not too much, I believe. I don't know exactly what joint it's called, but can move it up and down. Which some of them, of course, there's open space there, so you can just put it like the normal way, but sometimes it does get a little loose and then pop open like that. But you can do the same thing on the other side. There is another lever here as well as this Technic thing here, which I'm not sure if this is completely accurate, but it does have a gun turret on the back. I actually believe this is in the original set, or the original gunship that we see in the show, so you can position it any way you like. And if it is pressing against the wall, you can just put it all the way down straight, like how I usually display it like this. You can push it all the way against the wall and it'll just stay like that. So the longest thing here, I guess, is longer than the engines. So reminding you, if you do want to display it like that, I would push it down so no one can actually see it in the back. So now I'm going to see how many people can actually just regularly fit in the Coruscant Guard gunship. And I did forget to mention the sides here do have some pretty basic stud shooters, which I would honestly prefer them to have the actual ball turrets. I guess they do have like a clear ball turrets over here. I'm not quite sure. I know there is an official one in the actual gunship, like the UCS gunship from episode 2, but Coruscant Guard gunship, they couldn't include it. I mean, it was pretty simple, maybe just some small piece adjustments with like one of these cockpits, but in a more circular shape to just cover up the studs. But I guess it would defeat the whole play feature, and it is a play set at the end of the day. But it does, again, show Fox flying in here, as well as a normal figure, so we'll pop those in there technically because somebody needs to be flying the gunship, so I can't fit all the figures in there. It does have a whole lot of space there, but I'm going to first try to fit all the figures that it actually normally comes with. And again, a comma would be perfectly fine for Fox, because he would be able to fit in there perfectly fine, because there's not even being connected to studs. And anyway, if he even had a comma, he would still be able to connect to studs, which was the main excuse LEGO made. But with a comma, he should be able to easily fit in there, and personally, I'd rather have him stand in here, but that's not how LEGO advertises it. So you can pop some figures in the back, though it is a little bit of a tight squeeze, but you can fit it here. The main objective that I have is actually fully closing the door without any of them being knocked off. Personally, I like displaying it with a figure like right here, but if I try to close it, he will be knocked off. But you can fit Padme as well in here, but honestly not too many other ones, because there isn't any space with the area closing or the flap closing. But you can flip the entire model around and have a lot more space here to put Palpatine, which I can put him actually more facing the back, because he does have a little bit of a dress piece. But you can fit all the figures if you wanted to, and honestly, if I only wanted one pilot, I could also fit another one in here. But normally you could fit about 4. I guess you could shove one in here if you really want to, and just get all your figures prepared. If you're traveling with it or something, then you can just shove them in there. I guess there isn't really too much space for it to fall out. Maybe through here if you open this, but most likely not. But now I'm going to take probably my strongest army, which I set up every January. Of course, it's not January now, so I won't set up my entire clone army. But I'll take the Legion that I have the most of, which would be my 501st here. I do have some more 501st, like Rex and some other classic 501st clones. I guess the older Clone Wars one, which I currently have on display right now. And honestly, I would be very surprised if it could fit all of these clones. Just shoving them in there overall and just seeing how many clones I can actually just fit in there. But I will technically not put any figures in the cockpit space, because it's just taking up clones, and I can technically just count 2 of them, because that's all that can really fit in there. So taking out, of course, the non-clones, which would be Padme and Chancellor Palpatine there. I could connect them to regular studs and also try to squeeze some more in there. But for this, I'm going to close one side of the doors, sort of act as a barrier there, and just see how many clones I can actually fit in there. Starting off 1, 2, 3. Actually, I'll just skip the counting and tell you guys at the end. So there's currently 15 501st, as well as 2 of the Coruscant Guards, but I believe that can fit completely nice and snug. Hopefully, kind of. The back one did fall off, so technically 14. It's pretty cramped in there, and I can 14 and then 15, 16 because of the cockpit. And there's also a space down there, so I can probably fit the leftover 501st. So that actually makes 15. Then I can fit Fox in there, which makes it 16. And then I do need an entire new Legion to actually fit all the clones that I have in here. I do have a stray Coruscant Guard, which would be, I believe, 17, as well as Padme, which I could probably squeeze in there for a 17 or an 18. Then Palpatine can also maybe fit in there with closing it. No, Palpatine cannot fit. But there we go. That's definitely as much as I can fit in there. Not including the cockpit space, I believe about 17, including the cockpit space. That would be 18, 19. So I would just say about 20 clones you could fit in there. There's probably some spots that I'm missing. There's cramps because there is a area in the back here, which I can maybe pop Palpatine in there to make it 20. Maybe that could close-ish. Okay, that closes-ish, so about 20 clones you can actually fit in here, but that's honestly just randomly, so you can't actually fit a lot of clones, and it's just like spilling everywhere. But in actual seriousness, how many clones can you actually fit? I was able to fit standing in the main area without the actual pilots 4, but you could probably squeeze one in the back if you just want to play and use it for transportation. Again, this is a playset, which probably puts this very low on my list of gunships, mainly because of play. I feel like most gunships are supposed to be for display. You could use them for play again, but part of play is also display, and great functions and how it actually looks is still part of play. So top 5, I guess, features that I really don't like is number 1 on the, at least on the actual gunship, would be these wing turrets on the side here. That's basically one of the only faults. I know there's a lot more that I haven't really talked about too much. Personally, at the end of the day, I know they're not going to make it perfect, but the two things I guess I would change is the ball turrets here, as well as Fox getting his commas there, because he's either standing up or slightly sitting, I guess, whatever you want to call the cockpit position, which is what LEGO displays it. So I really don't know why he didn't get a printed or a plastic even. I know they're changing it back to plastic, at least for the pauldrons. So it would have been cool if you got plastic, or even a cloth version of the waistcape or camo. This is my first gunship, and definitely a huge addition and part of my clone army. Very glad we're getting a phase 2 Fox, but I feel like in every video that says this is about to retire and which ones you should pick up, which ones you shouldn't, this one is on the ones that you shouldn't. Honestly, LEGO is probably going to take not too long to make another gunship once this retires. It shouldn't be long till a new gunship comes out, because they figured out that's, I guess, a way to make a lot of money. Overall, this isn't a horrible set. It's not as bad as everyone says, but the main thing I would change is Fox, the torso print, as well as giving him maybe like a comma, or a pauldron. I guess he doesn't really have, but cloth or physical. I know in the new ones they also have a physical one, which I mean, I'm not really sure how I feel about the waistcapes and the pauldrons. Apparently, they're doing pauldrons now. They did no pauldrons, then they added a cloth pauldron. Now they're going to plastic pauldrons, but no waistcapes have been ever made since the Airborne Trooper back in 2020 and the General Grievous of Starfighter. So definitely no idea why Fox wouldn't get a pauldron in this set, or a waistcape in the set. It makes me so mad, and it could be so easily made. And if they did, it would probably just be one solid color, unlike the gray ones they would have with a black border, which would look so nice. And you're paying $140 for about 1,800 pieces, which isn't price per piece, not even close, but it would make it a lot better if that Fox was actually a really nice minifigure. I'm not sure how much he goes for, but probably not a lot, because nobody really likes him, honestly. Overall, I'll give this set about a 7 out of 10, maybe even a 6 out of 10, because honestly, it's not even that good. It's just my first gunship, and it's really cool to have on display, and is one of my bigger sets. But 1,000 pieces, $140 price per piece is the matching up. Most of the figures are good, alongside of, I guess, throwing aside the actual helmet holes that you get with all the clones. The main thing is just Fox. Honestly, I don't mind the gunship build too much. I actually like certain parts about it, and I mean, it's never going to be quite perfect, but the main thing is, again, Fox, which really sucks, and that's probably why this set is going very low on my list. But I think it is a great way to commemorate 300 subscribers. I wish I would have gotten the stickers a little bit earlier. Mainly got this because I was retiring, and I believe I was able to pick this up for about $110 at Walmart. I don't believe that was the final discount, but it was selling out at my store, so I decided to pick it up while I still could. But that's going to do it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have an amazing rest of your day, and see you all in the next one.